Western European qualifiers for TI13. So let's look at the facets. My favorite thing to do. No surprise, Windrunner takes the non-crappy facet. The focus fire is indeed still single target. Dazzle, Poison Bloom. Dazzle can refresh and spread his poison touch when attacking enemies, so that's what makes him so good against the melee type heroes. And then past that, Daze takes the non-bramble facet, as smokes will break here, so they have an idea that they are up in this area. Oh, this is a new one for Shadow Demon, I think, right? Promulgate. Disseminate instantly removes a percentage of the opponent's health for its duration. So the other one is it creates, unless that's his innate, creates an illusion with the closest enemy that dies.
No, that's
the other facet.
That's a facet, yeah. His innate is that he puts an amplified damage debuff on enemies that he attacks. So quite interesting.
So we are seeing some different ones.
Yeah. The Wind Ranger one might become really useful in this game. You kind of glanced over it because, you never really see the other one taken in Pro Dota. But what this one does is it gives you and allies within 700 radius 15% additional move speed when you use Wind Run. So this has some uses in this game at potentially disengaging from the Weaver and Pango, who have really good chase potential. See if it's going to play a role later on. 15% is a lot to give your team. Just by pressing an ability you want to use anyway.
Yeah.
So a nice little freebie there. Niku has skilled Shadow Wave level 1, not Poison Touch, against Noob. Hoping to get a little bit of a bomb when he goes for CS.
And Noob playing very passively, as you would expect. This is not an easy matchup at all. I mean, to be honest, Pango, there's a lot of heroes that are really hard to play against because there's a lot of ranged heroes that just dumps their melee, but I feel like Noob just gets away with it most of the time. But not sure when the last time he played against Dazzle was, so this should be pretty cool to see.
Dazzle's innate now, of course, is Weave, so whenever he casts spells, he gives armor or removes armor. Based on whether it hits allies or enemies. And this is actually causing a little bit of trouble for Noob with last hitting in mid, because you're not really that experienced with playing against melee creeps minute 1 that have bonus armor. When Dazzle is healing this wave, he's missing a couple so far on not really knowing the exact limit for how hard he's hitting. So that...
And there's the Poison Touch. This is where it gets really difficult. Level 2 as well. And we'll see how many last hits he can even get here under his own tower. Has to use Swashbuckle to secure some as Ducalis getting pressured in the top lane. And actually PMA, no, he's going to be fine. TA2000 not going to go any deeper. But Nico right now 9-2 versus Noob's 5-0. Very early on, of course, but this doesn't get any easier for Pango, I feel like. But
Noob's played it quite well so far, though. He's got enough in the first few waves that he can at least get his bottle plus maybe a stick if he wants. I think buying early stick in this lane is really valuable. Dazzle spams spells quite a lot, so I would like to see him take that over the bracer he currently has queued up, but doesn't seem to be the case so far. Yeah, now he put it in his quick buy. Let's see if he likes to take that. Actually bringing the fight to Niku here.
Yeah, Niku, pretty low, does have bottle charges now.
Okay.
And Noob just has to kind of do the poke and prod and keep his distance most of the time, or else he could get caught off guard. And what kind of, what do you think of their supports in terms of the rotations to the mid lane?
Both teams have plays, right? The Rubik or the Disruptor can both come in with repositioning spells, and for the other side, Shadow Demon as well as Willow. So it's mainly about who can be left alone. I think it's more likely that Brew will be fine for a little bit in a 1v2 than the Primal. Playing against Weaver plus support is really tough. Daze here has to back off, by the way. He's actually in serious trouble. He might just die to a Glimpse.
Glimpse back. TA2000's waiting for him as PMA gets a courier. Very important. Daze
they didn't get
barely going to survive. I thought TA2000 had him for sure, but started hitting creeps.
Oh, I think he got outranged.
Yeah, quite possibly. Malik in the bot lane, though. 4 Shadow Poison stacks, not enough to take him out. Still no first blood in this game.
There's a lot of aggression in these lanes. Both teams are really playing to the advantage of their respective side lanes. This is a lane that Weaver Disruptor are supposed to pressure in early on. And they almost find the kill, but so do the Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger Shadow Demon is actually a nasty safe lane when you think about it. Double range, tons of poke. If you ever get caught by 2 Shadow Poison stacks and then you get disrupted, you can follow through with a power shot that's guaranteed to land into multiple additional poison stacks you probably just kill. So
Ducalis
needs to be careful.
He comes to the mid lane to take the other water rune to deny Niku, which forces Daze to TP, refill the bottle, to be able to continue this spam onto Noob. It's been several times now that both of these players have been on very low HP. But really, it's the mana regen that is the issue.
Oh, Noob went for that CS. It's going to cost him, but he's not going to die. But now needs to be very, very careful sitting here, floating on 100 health with no rune to take.
Yeah, this is impressive, though. 21-1 for Noob versus the 24-5.
He has done well enough at this point. Oh, he's trying to find a rune that isn't there.
That's a waste of time.
Real bad. But it's desperation time, right? He can't lane anyway, so he's just trying. At least he'll find a D ward here. That'll give some experience. And, well, Nico isn't going to push him. He's just holding the lane at his tower. So nothing gained here on this wave for the Pango, who will head back to base, start doing the long walk of shame. So he will arrive to meet a level 6 Dazzle. I don't think the bad Juju plays that big of a role in the kill. Probably.
Riddy's on this Shadow Demon was scanned out, so Quest will have an idea that the Windrunner is alone right now, but can't really capitalize as Omar making his way over. Getting ready for this 6-minute power run, which feels like it might end up being the first blood, which I'm shocked that we haven't seen it yet. As we see action top, PMA. He swarmed, will be using his onslaught, does hit Noob, but now we see the double shield crash. This should be first blood, and it is for the Pango. Meanwhile, Omar getting gone on. It's a nice telekinesis shadow run with the poison touch. Will lead to the kill for Navi Jr. Definitely lower priority kill, but the fact that we waited this long for first blood is pretty crazy.
It's really big that Omar gets the kill, or sorry, that Noob gets the first blood though. With this lane, I mean, as I was saying, he was doing quite well in the lane, but it was starting to get really difficult. This is such a massive band-aid on the problem. Getting that kill and now getting level 6. A big part of what Dazzle does to ruin your game has effectively been... He's survived it now. Still behind by a few hundred net worth, but, you know, Pango's general impact in the mid-game compared to Dazzle's is usually quite lopsided if he has a good game. So, this will do.
I think the biggest discrepancy right now is the offlaners in terms of the farm. TMA on this Primal Beast not doing super hot versus the Brew. 600 behind right now. But it does feel like you need a little less farm on the Primal to get... I mean, you typically just go BKB right away and you just start fighting. As opposed to Brewmaster needing a full Radiance.
Yeah, this feels like a bad Blade Mail game on Primal. I don't think there's any point in buying it. It doesn't do anything against the Brew. It's not that great against Pango. Weaver can deal with it quite well as well. So I think it's better to just focus your attention on getting... Yeah, probably phase straight BKB sounds a little bit weird, but maybe it's fine. In this game, maybe they really want to get it early. He obviously has to navigate the Rubik the whole game, who can steal Pulverize. And he cannot protect himself from that in any way, as long as Rubik has spells available. Ducalis will get the glimpse.
Yeah, onto Niku inside that kinetic field. Rotation has come even from the Weaver himself. Niku does not have Graves, so he is certainly dead. Ducalis, in the meantime, is going to get denied. That is a new addition to Dazzle, as of however long ago. As Day's getting pursued, Pango finishes the job, and PMA trying to at least get a Rubik. But this might lead to his own death as TA2000 trying to block, but won't do so fully successfully. But the shield crash will slow PMA down enough that will lead to yet another kill. So 2 core kills
Really
Quest
nice
there, 3 for 1.
Yeah. And Omar clutch gets the stick off and the telekinesis to get some distance to the
Brew
primal.
split in the bot lane as well. Got the juice. Looks like he might survive as Niku doesn't have Shadow Wave for another 5 seconds, but they're trying to find that Earth Panda because that's where Malik will end up. Shackler shot into the power. And only question is who gets the kill. It is Got the Juice, who is about 800 away from the Maelstrom.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
More pressure being put on mid immediately by Quest. Will get disrupted, but that's going to show Riddy's position, and they're not hesitating at all to dive this guy.
Yep, they know that at least one TP went to the bot lane, so there's not going to be much support. Although Riddy's doing a pretty good job of juking. Feels like just a matter of time, though. Noob takes that for himself. 4-0-1.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how this game is going to go. Yeah, I don't know how this game is going to go, but it's getting banned next game, 100%.
So they
Either
lane
way.
countered it with Dazzle, but Quest solved the problem through really good teamwork and rotations. They've brought so many kills to him in that mid lane, and now they might even bring another one. Niku is farming this stack
Oh, dear.
of 2 different camps.
Yeah,
He does
glimpse
not
back.
have shallow
TP's
grave.
coming. Shadow Demon. Even if he gets that off, it's certainly not going to be enough. PMA just hits level 6 recently, by the way, so finally they have Pulverize at their disposal. Disruption onto Noob. Dave's making his way over. These are just supports, though. And Omar keeping them at bay as Noob's ult. Not going to do too much to Riddy's, but he finds Daze instead. And that'll lead to yet another kill for Quest. And this is starting to snowball a bit. PMA wanting to do something, but again, he's had, in terms of the cores, the worst game to this point.
Yeah.
And at a tier 1 tower for Quest.
And Noob is going to get himself an Echo Saber minute 10 after laning against Dazzle. This is, I mean, it's been the #1 story of the game, but there's a reason for it. You see both teams are completely playing around the same matchup as well. Just really understanding that the Pango versus Dazzle is what's going to make or break this game, and Quest have just done a better job. The fight that they took mid around the river was extremely valuable for them. The fact he found the first blood on the top rune, everything has just been really, really stellar from them. And they get to reap the rewards now, which is honestly, take a breather. Like, now you don't have to stress anymore about solving this. Now, all of your heroes are in a good position. Both your supports are level 6, minute 11. Your Pango has a great game, as we said, and Weaver has rotated a couple of times to help out. Now he can just farm. He's not needed for a while. He can join if he wants to, but there's no need for him for the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. He's kind of free to do whatever.
I should mention the Navi Junior supports both still level 5 right now, and does not bode well as Daze, I believe, about to get ganked. There's a smoke.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'd rather get the Windrunner, but Got the Juice maneuvers his way out of there. Daze actually going through the gate, so a good read.
Yeah.
The smoke will not result in much.
Will lead to tower pressure, though. TI13 was involved again, but this time it's for a secondary purpose. He kind of wants to swap down here anyway. So pushing this tower with the siege wave and then starting to farm down here is the natural move that we've seen a lot of teams make around this 11-minute mark when the siege reaches. But he is, as a matter of fact, diverting a little bit by going back up
Riddy's
top.
forces out the Rolling Thunder. So that's on cooldown for a
Potential
bit. Brambles.
Uh-oh.
Bucalis definitely in range. Daze into the kinetic field he goes. PMA, was there anything you can do about it? Terrorize comes out, but he gets lifted
Stolen
up.
Brambles.
They take out Daze. And TI13, well, not going to go any further.
This is such a good spell on Rubik. When that hits higher levels, Bramble Maze on this guy is amazing. We should mention, as we figured out the other day, you steal spells with their facet. So Rubik does not get the Bramble facet this time around, since that was not the one Willow took. It will be the regular Brambles, but even they are really, really nice on Rubik with the amp and the cast range.
Well, if he steals Shadow Realm, then Fade Bolt does more damage, and whatever spell you steal, right?
Yep.
Not the best steal, though. I wonder if that is a consideration when you're playing against Rubik to take away the better facet. I don't know.
More than likely not, but it is... if it's very close between the two, maybe it's like a tiebreaker or whatever for you and your choice. But
Well, Malik on the brew, 2,800 gold right now, so not too far away from the Sacred Relic, which, of course, be turned into the eventual Radiance. Niku, 600 away from Ags, which is just brown boots Ags, essentially. And what kind of a build do you go for after that on this hero? Do you have any idea?
sorry, on which one?
Dazzle after Ags.
Probably BKB in this game. I think we've already seen how much he struggles when he gets jumped. And you can kind of count on Riddies to somewhat protect him, but with how bad his game is, he's not going to have many items to bring to the table. Nice escape from him there, by the way. Avoiding the glimpse by going into the corner. So yeah, I think BKB just has to be it. So you can stand your ground, at least block some of the damage of some of these heroes, the spells from Rubik and Disruptor, and get something done. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning looking at Navi Jr. right now, kind of running out of steam a bit. Ducalis, can he find a glimpse? Does not get vision of Days. That was very close with daytime.
Noob is invisible. There is a sentry, though. He's going to get shackled. Focus fire to follow, but swashes away. Days not able to get the terrorize off. Navi Jr. just a slight step behind right now against Quest as PMA. Continuing to try to get the ever-important BKB for him. That's when his game begins, it feels like.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to avoid fights now. As the Dazzle has the Ags now. So Shadow Wave bounces, or can target enemies.
Wow, that level 10 talent is really good.
For Dazzle.
He doesn't have it yet, the right one.
300 poison touch attack range. Huh.
So heroes that are affected by poison touch, you can hit from 300 additional range.
Pretty cool.
Gives you 875. That one has to be the choice.
Noob and company. That is a surprise smoke. As Riddies easily going to be taken out, but a nice terrorize comes from Daze, and it's a huge ultimate on top of them as well. The two supports for Quest are already dead, and now the pulverize to follow. They're going to get Noob. What an incredible turnaround for Navi Jr. as TA2000 might be left alone here, might be wanting to run away. Will time lapse and do exactly that. Malik in a bit of trouble, though. About to exit. His Bruling form dodges the power shot, but there's the Bramble into the onslaught. PMA and got the juice. Will team up to take him out. 4 for 1. They don't get the Weaver, but this is what we're talking about with Navi Jr. Just insane play.
Yeah, their saving grace in the games where their lanes have not gone well has been just spell casting, and that was an amazing terrorize from Daze. Good positioning, and the counterplay was instant too. It was like, you said it was a surprise smoke, but it didn't look like it. Considering how quick they were to respond there. Oh, got the juice though. Might be on the receiving end here.
They've already used
Can he find a
glimpse.
shackle? No.
Shackle not gonna hit. Niku's there. He has Grave.
Not in range.
But they take out the Windrunner. But in the meantime, TA2000 getting gone on. The Curse Crown will hit. Do they have the vision to finish him off? It's going to be close. Yes. So big trade coming out from Navi Jr. as Riddies glimpse back into the Rolling Thunder. Daze and Niku completely depleted on mana. So this is likely to be a kill onto the Shadow Demon. Another Curse Crown comes out, but no follow-up after the fact.
Damn, we have ourselves a game. I thought this was going to turn into a quite one-sided affair, but that top fight really opened things up a bit now for Navi Jr. Make no mistake, they're still trailing, and the Pango is still having a wonderful game, but a little bit of a comeback in that one. And of course, very valuable for PMA that he's the one to break the Pango kill streak. He got so much gold out of that his BKB almost completed. I think he got about 700 from that one. So good news for Navi Jr. fans out there. Despite the Dazzle not working it out in the intended way, plan B of just being good is working. It's a pretty good strength to have as a team.
Malik with the Radiance, PMA, a couple hundred away from BKB, so he'll have that for the next fight. And for the other cores, we haven't really talked about TA2000. He has the Maelstrom, Dragonlance, and is it going to be the Gleipnir, I would assume? Yeah, looks like it.
And then probably BKB, so he can navigate the Willow Brambles, so he can deal with the Wind Ranger Shackle Shot and just really stick on his target. I think Gleipnir BKB MKB is probably the best build here most of the time. So let's see if he takes that exact path. Don't really see any much reason to deviate from those items.
Got the juice pretty close to BKB as well, so that's going to be... And even Niku not too far away, about a recipe from that. So they're about to have a triple BKB power spike.
That's big. That's the first one.
I don't know what I was expecting.
And Ducalis was eyeing up Dagger, but he just switched it over to Ags, so wants to get the big one. Now, the difference between this Ags and the one we saw when Navi Jr. were playing Disruptor against OG is that I think Quest have way less reliable catch to land that Static Storm. The only instant stun they have is Telekinesis, which is good. That's absolutely good enough if you have the vision, but it's one hero that is a support that can do it. I think in the game that Navi Jr. had, they had 2 or 3 different ways of setting up the Disruptor for success. So has to play tight with Omar to land that, but needs to get there first. Another 3,000 gold to go could take a while.
Yeah, Noob, on the other hand, about to finish his Aghanim Scepter after he picked up the Blink and Echo Saber. And I think they're in fighting shape once that gets delivered. I guess he's taking apart the Echo Saber to finish it.
Split the Echo, so he has it for this fight.
4 members smoked for Quest right now. I'm not
This
sure
one
if PMA
hurts.
has shown off his BKB, but they should know that he'll have it.
You're not going anywhere.
He's going to be spotted. Will probably be forced to use it in retreat. Oh, he already used Onslaught, though. Okay, BKB TP.
Yeah.
And no way to cancel that. Until Basher comes from you.
Probably his next item after the Echo reassembly. Although we have seen Noob prioritize the AC in his build to really take advantage of the minus armor from Lucky Shot and amplify that further. It would be very nice for the Weaver as well to have that in his team. But, yeah. It will be the Echo first, of course, and we'll see what he queues up after that. Tier 2000 has decided BKB plus MKB as well, as it looks.
Right.
So, no surprise.
I think Roche is on the menu for Quest.
Yep, very good lineup for it. Brewmaster tanks it very well. You've got the Swarm. You've got Lucky Shot. This will be very quick, and Navi Jr. are nowhere to be seen. So this is free. Maybe try to trade it for the top tier 1. I feel like Navi Jr., I mean, they scanned them, so they know what's happening here. But Omar is already set up. They're actually greedily trying to also defend the top tower simultaneously with the Rubik, pulverizing into the wave and then nuking it out, blinking away. And job's done. Navi actually don't get anything in trade. Very nice.
So 4K lead for Quest as the Aegis is on TA2000. Gleipnir finished. BKB next for him. It's funny, they changed BKB big time, and at first people were buying it less, and now it just feels like it's every game again.
Oh.
As Days will be sniped out.
I'm still... Dazzled has not taken a level 10 talent. I'm kind of surprised by this. Maybe when you go Ags, you don't really care about the Poison Touch attack range because you're just going to use Shadow Wave to spread the Poison Touch. So then it's kind of irrelevant at that point. And he feels like, okay, if you're bridging the gap between not having Ags and having Ags with that level 10 talent, how long is that relevant? Maybe like 2 minutes. So maybe it's fair. You just don't get it at all. Let's see what he does level 16. This will be the telling sign. If he takes stats, then he thinks it's really bad. He's universal, so all stats is very good, but...
True.
You know, there surely has to be some sweet spot in between. Or the mono region talent, at least, then.
The fact that he has an 80 attack speed talent, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And they're not taking it as core Dazzle.
And the other one is just insane.
Yeah, it's
The
definitely,
Shadow Wave
especially
one when
with
you have
Ags.
Ags is just too good.
That's the thing, like, even if you're playing carry, let's call it, you're probably going to get an Ags, because it applies an auto attack. So, begs the question,
Yeah.
when would you take the other one? There's a
But the
lot
juke's
of
going
attack
to
speed,
work.
though.
He will get caught.
Focus fire, but Omar is there. Disruption. Okay, the BKB TP again, and they don't have the damage. Riddies. Oh, Gleipnir cancels the TP. the Quest gets something in this defense. As PMA now has the initiation possibility with the Blink Dagger. I mean, they're definitely maintaining, or they're not letting this lead grow for Quest.
Got a little bit of a
Hovering around the
disconnect.
4 to 5K lead right now. Has got the juice, needs to get the juice.
Just this pause just made me realize we've had like almost no pauses this entire qualifier in our games, which has been very enjoyable. I think
Knock
this is
on
the
wood.
second pause that we've cast.
Remember the Calais days?
Oh yeah,
DAC?
there were pauses multiple times every game.
You know, I think that like people having just dog shit internet helped my career. Like you and I probably helped you a little bit too. Like we would just go off on tangents and people love that stuff. You know, they
I
don't
thought you
anymore,
were
of
going to
course.
say,
They actually
well,
hate
we
us.
didn't disconnect, so we could still, you know.
That's true. We had better internet than other people. The
What can I say?
advantage.
It's a competitive field. Everything matters. Quests TI13 going to work on bottom tier 2. Days has shown up, so maybe Navi Jr. trying something here, but this isn't Aegis push. You don't
They
really
could burn
have,
it.
They have a good ward overseeing Omar, actually, so maybe if they can find him first and begin the fight that way.
Oh, they're gonna try for a Bramble,
He
not
will
gonna hit
react.
anyone. Swarm comes out. That'll likely break things up. Scan.
Now, if Brambles were instant like you thought, Shannon, they would have caught him, but
Well,
they aren't.
I don't know if they were on target. That's not
No,
necessarily
but he would have
true.
cast them on target if they were instant.
Okay, thanks, Cinder.
Yep, you're very welcome. All right, smoke
I mean,
up.
that
It's
was
action
in
time.
fog, to be fair. He didn't actually...
They had a ward.
Oh, they do have a ward. You're right. It's in the fog of my brain. As both sides smoke up, like you said, the Aegis is still there, and TA2000 is going to show himself like a juicy bait that he is.
going
Can
on
you
him is
squash
not
the
the
bug?
way.
The tier 2 tower looks like it's just going to get taken out. Fortification, though, prevents it temporarily.
Navi
Bit of a
Jr.
stalemate
really
now.
want this fight, but they're not getting it because the quests are offering them 0 targets. All right, now they're actually just going to get in and
Rolling
get
Thunder
bugged.
coming in. Already at half HP is the Primal Beast. He can't get anything off. He's just dead. Will the fight continue? Got the juice pops his BKB and focus firing Noob down. We'll be able to find him in the corner, but more members of Quest are surrounding him. He's going to get the kill, but Ducalis gets off his ult and they get the trade at the very least. It's a 2 for 2 right now. It's TA2000 going 1v1. We'll pop the time lapse as Niku, his BKB is dissipating, still has his grave. Finally, the Primal Split comes out. Very late cast. Aegis finally consumed, and Niku eventually will drop to the hands of the Brewmaster. 3 for 2 on the run. Riddies being chased by these cute little pandas.
They're cute, but
Don't
they do hit
think
hard.
this is going to get any kills here. Push him back. Just being an annoyance.
That's pretty funny. That was the first showcase in this game of Wind Ranger's matchup against Pango, which is... This has been a classic counterpick on mid that I kind of forgot about, and we haven't seen teams really use it to solve Noob there, but from the carry position, Pango getting focus fired is really bad, and he just got run down, 100 to 0 by Got the Juice, but it took him so long that the BKB expired and they got the counterplay. Ducalis will get caught,
Yes, indeed.
and TA2000 is out of there. So, relatively even exchange, all things considered. The Aegis is now gone, so next time the Weaver could be a possible target for the side of Navi Jr. A top 3 net worths now. We're sitting on Quest for just a second before Wind Ranger used Power Shot. Very powerful ability, gets you to 3rd net worth when you cast it.
Very
Now
strong.
just on his tail. All right, instant move again. 5-on-4 situation. A little bit of a power play here, as we call it in ice hockey.
We.
Yeah. Specifically Trent
presumptuous.
only.
Yeah, I was going to say. Can't see you playing any physical sport. It's a tier
Actually,
1
he doesn't
tower
call it
taking out
power
mid.
play. He calls it para play.
That sounds like a southern accent.
Yeah, he's from South Canada.
True. So just the tier 1 tower. You can see Navi Jr. still smoked. Approaching Omar's vicinity. Days might run into him. Indeed, that is the case. Blinks right on top. Omar does not react. He's dumbfounded by this. It'll be a free kill for Navi Jr. They're down
Ignoring
8K
Willow
after that
jumping on
last
you is
fight.
kind of a Giga Chad move. But
Like, is this it? Come on now. Show
eventually
some
he had to do
respect.
something. All right, Quest immediately trying to look for... I mean, they do have the buyback, so this could be a full 5-on-5. Let's see if they find the flank.
Yep,
Looking
Ducal,
for it.
our PMA. He's spotted,
Oh,
but
he didn't
the
beat
Weaver
KP
actually
on
getting
the limit.
gone on.
Gets saved.
Pulverize on top. Is it enough damage? No. Trample as well, but the time lapse finally comes out from TI13. Still being pursued, though. Does he have the vision? The focus fire continue to go. This is a crazy 1v1 battle as TI1300 and Got the Juice have to separate now, but Noob finishes it for him, intervenes in the duel, as now we have a 2-for-1 in favor of Quest, and I believe Navi Jr. just have to run now. Niku gets shackled by the Rubik and beat down by the Bear. PMA is next.
Oh, TA2000,
And
nice kill from Daze. All right.
Okay, a good snipe for sure. Salvages the fight a bit, but definitely still in favor of Quest in the end.
This game is really down to who gets the first jump. Like, the problem in this instance for Navi Jr. is the wind ranger gets dropped to like 35% before she gets disrupted. As the bursts on the side of Quest is massive. When Pango just blinks on top of you and bursts you with all his physical damage, you kind of have to respond with that save immediately. And yeah, Got the Juice comes out of the disruption, BKBs, but he's so low that in that exchange against the Weaver, he ultimately has to yield, gets run down, killed, and then you know what Brewmaster does best. Chaotic fights, he's going to thrive in those, just splitting people apart, creating tons of space, and ultimately Quest do get it done. But still, a commendable fight for Navi Jr. with how that started. That could have been way worse.
It looks like Quest want to try to find the avenue for the next Roche.
Yep,
because
they're
that
waiting
is
for him
up.
to head bottom. Already setting up.
Only 20 seconds away from daytime as the smoke comes out from Navi Jr. This is one of the benefits of having a lineup with pretty low cooldowns. The Brew ult still another 15 seconds till that is back up.
I can't believe they still have another smoke in their inventory. I feel like they've smoked
they ping
4
out.
times in the last 5 minutes.
If you're smoked and you blink, they still see the effect of the blink, right?
I think
that's
they
what they
don't.
spotted there.
But maybe.
Well,
maybe
right
you're
when it happened, they started pinging that area.
Okay. I think they're
Unless
not
that was
supposed to. Let's say that.
It could have been Navi Jr. pinging themselves, I guess. Hard to tell.
Successful
Either way,
scan.
smoke doesn't really turn into much other than a bit of a warding expedition. And yeah, Roche is on the bottom side of the map.
Interesting to see Quest decide to leave the area. I think, considering they had Ob Sentry down there and the Roche is spawning, I think most teams would just stay there, set up shop, and wait for the enemy team to run into them. But they split out and looked for farm. They are very close, in fairness, to some very big item. Ducalis needs another 100 gold for his Ags, so that would be massive. The Brewmaster is finishing his AC now. Yeah, they're hitting a serious stride here. All right, Malik, you might want to let Ducalis get these last hits. All right, he will. And there is that Ags coming now. Oh, baby. This is a moment Navi Jr. might not expect. It's about to arrive, the Ags. For Ducalis.
Yeah,
There it is,
arguably one of
and
the
he
most powerful Ags in the game.
Could just jump together with Omar, as we talked about. You can just blink lift someone into this Disruptor combo. As long as Disruptor is in range.
Well, they, meaning Quest did scan this, so
That's another Navi smoke out the window. They have another one? Dude, how? It's like, I feel like I've seen so countless amount of smokes in this game, and they still have one left. That's crazy.
they're just that good.
Yep. Well, they're gonna lose the Roche, so...
Yeah, Roche number 2, Aegis, and Banner. So Weaver, Aegis, and who cares, Banner.
Yeah.
Anyone can place it.
Well, I would advise not having it on specifically Brewmaster, because he's the one hero that can stun himself for 20 seconds, and therefore not place the banner. But,
True.
you know...
Navi Jr. gonna need to get a little bit more magic to get back in this game. Down 12k, certainly starting to snowball in Quest's favor, and we're gonna see the Tormentor. I feel like they really need this shard on the Willow, but it's going to go to PMA, so Rock Throw. I feel like Cursed Crown Bramble against like Weaver specifically. I mean, I know he's
Weaver and
BKB now,
Pango.
but
It is nice for
just
sure. And
very
even
good.
against the Brewmaster when he's split. Speaking of, just off the top of your head, how long do you think Primal Split lasts right now? If you had to guess.
Primal Split,
Yeah.
like before Ags.
No, just his ult now. He has the shard.
22 seconds,
32.
32.
It's crazy, isn't it? When you look at that number, you're like, I can't believe it. That's wild. Yeah, with the shard, you get that extra duration, and you allow it to cancel early if you want to do that, which we have seen sometimes have an effect. It's quite rare, though. But yeah, 32 seconds of brew ult, the amount of chaos and control you have with this hero is pretty unbelievable. And Quest are going to knock on the front door now. They have the banner. They're going to place it in a second here, you would imagine. Yeah, Lamar is going to put it down.
There it is. Primal Split
boy.
as well. Tier 3 tower is fortified just in time with 50 HP to spare. They lift up the Dazzle. The tower is dead. Can Navi Jr. do anything about this? Going to try to Sidewinder them here. You can see Noob is actually blocking the smoke. He's going to get pulverized. There's the Static Storm, but it's a little bit too late. The BKBs have already been used. The Pango extremely low. Omar steals the Pulverize, doing a nice job at Noob. Gets enough distance away to not have to worry about it anymore. They get the Disruptor, but he buys back in the game. Only gotten the range rack so far. His TA2000 pretty low, but still has that Aegis. Got the juice. Being pursued. Pops the Manta, trying to get back to the fountain. He'll do so thanks to the Ogre Seal Totem. And the Hex immediately onto Noob as he tries to retreat. Terrorize is coming for him. He's going to cancel that. Finally uses it onto the Bramble Maze. They do get the melee racks. So the full rack, only like a couple of heroes have died. Finally, the first core is Pango. And PMA, another Pulverize coming. That's how long this freaking fight has been going on.
Stolen
Disrupted
Bedlam.
is going to be a dieback as Malik and company trying to finish off the Primal Beast. A nice disruption from Riddies at the last moment. And got the juice, gets a beautiful shackle onto the Weaver. Do they have the damage? Absolutely, Cinderin. As he transforms them into the Bramble. Yes, they do get him in the end. My goodness, Navi Jr. And Omar cancel TP. Another kill to Got the Juice's name.
Wow.
Good lord, this team is fun to watch. They do lose their full set of racks, but still, I would say that's a good defense for sure.
Absolutely. This felt like it was the only way to hold. They have to go for a flank move and find the heroes on the side, and the fact that Ducalis drops a completely useless Static Storm is a really good start to that fight. They both got the BKBs off in time on Windranger and the Primal Beast, so completely negated him, took him out of the fight, and built it from there. Just really good control and communication in that instance. Losing so little, I mean, honestly, I would consider this a win for them. Sure, you lose a lane of barracks, but that was an Aegis banner push that you repelled and you gained net worth. I don't think this barracks is that important anymore. So very, very much a possibility for Navi Jr. to get into a good position. Now with the Gleipnir on the Windranger, that's going to help a lot. Shiva's on Primal Beast. You get this like extra core item on seemingly every hero almost. Willow with the Hex. I think she might have had that in that fight. She actually did. She hexed the Willow on the final kill, or the Weaver on the final kill. So massive difference maker that Daze has got a couple of the kills he did in this game to afford that hex.
Yeah, I was going to say they might need a Lincoln's on the Quest side, and that's exactly what TA2000 is building. I was thinking Noob might go for it as well, but he's opting for the Wind Waker.
Yeah, also a good solution.
And got the juice. I mean, it's all about the single target. I mean, it's all about the lockdown so that he can apply the single target damage to the Weaver. That's the hardest and most slippery hero for Quest.
Yeah. Interesting to see Malik eye up an Octarine here. I thought he was actually going to go Refresher. His split is never dying in this game. And the last fight lasted so long that it expired. He has the mana pool to do 2 splits back to back, but it will be the Octarine. This is going to make him able to use Manta a lot more to keep the waves pushed and put pressure that way, but maybe a second split would be preferable in this situation. Or even a Vlad's, if you think about it. The fights are really extended, everybody's grouped up, and you're missing that one aura. It could make a pretty big difference for the Weaver's ability to sustain. So TA2000 with no lifesteal in his build currently. He has backpacked his Paladin Sword in favor of Mindbreaker.
It's a good one. And once he has this Lincoln's, it is going to be so much more difficult to get on top of him. PMA. The pulverizers have been really good so far.
Yep.
And the question is, can they avoid the static storm again?
Yeah.
That was kind of the crucial part of the fight. If they get static storm before BKB, I think the fight just ends in all likelihood.
Yeah, if Ducalis, it's one of those situations that is easy to criticize afterwards, right? But if he had waited, then maybe he could have found a better one. But it looked promising, like they were barely going to clip the Primal before he BKB'd. So it's understandable he goes for it. But Navi Jr. were very ready. Oh, gonna hex the Rubik. Easy kill.
Okay, that's a fast one.
Trying to TP out, but
TP
there's the
support,
counterplay.
Ducalis. Days will be traded. So 1-for-1 to start and end.
Yeah, forced a lot of TPs though. This is going to open up the top side of the map. They trade supports, but the Gleipnir from TI13 will stop that Willow TP. Fortunately for Quest, they're like, oh, well, I guess there's a Tormentor here, so we didn't go here in vain. They'll clean that up.
What a tasty treat.
Disruptor gets his shard.
When is the next Tormentor for Navi Jr.? I wish there was a little timer here. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would indeed be nice. Okay, 1 second has passed, noob. You have to resume now.
That's right.
All right. Well, he overshot it by 3 seconds. We'll let him have it. That was a quick pause. I'll allow it.
Got the Juice has a Daedalus, by the way. No, he just spent all his money, so no buyback or anything of the sort. And we'll see what kind of tier 4 item he gets on top. But he is now packing an enormous punch. Mindbreaker, pretty damn good as well. In fact, that might be the best possible item for a Windrunner because it's adding 45 magic damage to each. Wait, does it get mitigated by the focus fire as well? How does that work?
Yeah, it should get mitigated,
Because
but it's
Swashbuckle does not get mitigated, for example. But I know it's not technically the same.
I think it gets mitigated, but the mitigation is quite low now. She has the level 20 talent, so her focus fire is an 18% reduction. So I do think it's still really valuable, of course. And yep. On the other side of things, Pango has changed his build from the Wind Waker. He's actually going Ghost Scepter potentially, and then the Harpoon. I wonder what the logic is here of going for that. That one is a little bit surprising for me compared to every other item that's purchased in this game. The Harpoon at this point is sticking out a little bit. Gleipnir.
Gleipnir finds the Dark Willow. Days has the Ghost Scepter, but don't think that's going to keep him alive. His team is not coming for him. It does feel like if he's spotted, and he doesn't really have a counter to the Glimpse or the Catch in general. And what can he even itemize? I mean, Sheepstick was really expensive, and it's really good if you can get it off with that blink. It's more of an initiation type deal. Defensively, not so much.
They just have a couple of really good tools against Willow. That's just what it is. They have Gleipnir, which can catch her in Shadow Realm, and the bugs also apply. So you just can't get away when this stuff is on you. You're just completely locked down. And yeah, the best counter he has is stay behind. Don't be the target. But obviously this was not a fight setup for Navi Jr., so he wasn't in formation. He was just out on his own looking for info, and he got it. He got info.
It's still early. I know the game is not over. 10k lead. It doesn't feel like a 10k lead. Maybe like 5.
It's a quite close game overall.
But what have you thought of the Dazzle so far? I have not been feeling it, personally. Not yet.
It's one of those heroes where he's very polarizing, right? I feel like either he completely takes over the game for mid, or you wish you had another hero minute 15 until it's over. That's generally how it is.
Right.
I'll reserve my full judgment until we see the damage numbers, because Dazzle does a lot of like passive damage in fights that you might underestimate, and puts minus armor on them with weave, and it all stacks up. And over time, long fights, Dazzle will actually have had a pretty strong, almost invisible impact, where you need to kind of rewatch the fight to appreciate how much he did. But yeah, as far as the shallow graves go, there hasn't been like any game-changing shallow graves, and the Pango solution that he was meant to be did not happen. So I would agree it did not work out, but I really didn't mind the choice. I think they just got countered by Quest through play rather than draft early on.
Right. I think it would be totally different if he wins that lane.
Yeah.
By just, it doesn't have to be like a dumpstering or anything, but
yeah, if he convincingly wins that lane and Noob doesn't have 4 kills minute 10, then...
Quest has been scanned out by NAVI Jr. And Ducalis has been using his shard, the Thunder Strike, in the pit, so they don't really need to walk in to see when Roche
That's a nice little
actually
detail.
gets spawned.
You can keep casting it too.
Yeah, we don't really see it on the ground targeted very often, but that is a cool...
Now it's spawning.
And Roche will wake up! And now if there's any wards for NAVI Jr., they'll see it too. If I knew the words to one of my favorite songs, that would just be a joy.
I don't think anybody knows the words to that song, including the singer. I think he was just phoning it in. All right, let's...
Roche already at half HP. This is a refresher shard.
It's dead.
Primal split
They're too
already
late.
used in defensive measure, and yeah, it's gone.
Uh-oh.
NAVI Jr. running away, but look how fast the primal split is. They get the lift up. The Brambles, again, using a defensive measure. Here comes the Rolling Thunder as well. And a Static Storm on top of Primal Beast, but he's getting lifted back in. Can't get his BKB up quite yet as Niku, standing his ground, will finally use the Shallow Grave to try to take out the Panda Brewlings, but he pops right back, so Malik is perfectly fine. Pulverize onto the Weaver. Stolen Grave keeps him alive. He still has Aegis, of course, as the Shadow Demon doing a nice job of saving the Primal Beast just temporarily, but it looks like NAVI Jr. are just getting run over, just too much damage. And they were there a little bit too late. 4 for nothing. Just incredible play and casting here from Quest.
And Suns fan.
And thank you very much. But that was very unfortunate. They just wanted to get away and couldn't.
Yeah. That Stolen Grave was actually really nice. I don't know if it was necessary for the fight to go the way it did, because Aegis was still available for TI13, but he just got 5 seconds, just stand and deliver. Full out, just pushing into these heroes without any fear. Yeah, they're going to force the buyback out of the Dazzle, but 2v5, surely this is mega creeps. TI2000 pushing really fast. Can't really mount a defense. Windranger did get the focus fire on the Pango in that fight, but couldn't chase him down the
They're
whole
going
way.
to try for it, but another Static Storm comes out. The Grave keeps him alive, but I don't think it's going to be for long, Cinderin. Well, he gets off another
Grave
one.
again? Okay,
another
actually.
BKB, got the juice, getting it back to the base. Nico has to pop the BKB as well. They're trying to survive. He Graves himself.
Glimpse.
Primal split, Rolling Thunder on the way.
There's
no
the
more
limit.
Graves
Okay,
to
we
work
found
with there. Windrunner does fall, but look at the damage from this Bedlam. The Stolen Grave, again used onto the Pangolier, keeping him alive as Daze looks to be dead inside of this kinetic field. Although maybe not. They're not going to pursue any further. Don't want to take any chances. Perhaps they get the 2 sets of racks. A tier 4 is dead as well. And Niku continuing lowering these cooldowns. Can they get something out of this?
Nice kinetic field.
BKB pop from PMA finally has the Pulverize as well. The Rubik is dead. Malik popping his refresher to get off another Primal split. And with that, NAVI Jr. need to retreat for the time. He's going to get glimpsed back into the kinetic field. So much damage applied to him, but the Grave keeping him alive along with the Shadow Demon as well. But eventually, the big bad beast goes down. Daze wants to go in really deep. He's really wanting to kill off Weaver. This is a support Dark Willow. Still something to fear, though. It's a Static Storm used in their getaway.
Malik exploring the enemy fountain.
Oh. All right.
And
Very cool.
You can also cancel the split early, dude, if you want.
No
Another
need.
ruling, but style points, I suppose, for him.
And this is looking very grim for NAVI Jr.'s game number 1. They've put up a really good fight, but I think they've hit their limit for this specific game. Unless you think there's an item that's going to make a difference, because I mean, Windrunner has hit close to her cap, and it doesn't seem like it's enough. The Graves have been pretty dirty, but
Yep, they have definitely kept the game alive. These last couple of fights, I feel like the Dazzle has done a lot more than in the rest of the game. Once he unlocked that Octarine core, things got a lot easier for him, but it's like you're delaying the deaths, but you're not overtaking the fight. Is the problem? Like you're not winning. You're just losing it slower. And they did successfully defend their third lane by specifically just keeping the Windranger alive for 15 seconds with the Dazzle, and then other heroes respawned. We didn't find any meaningful kills. TA2000 will get rid of the Tormentor. Nice free gold. Time-lapse off all the damage.
They don't know he doesn't have time-lapse, so there is a window to get that kill. I have to find a way to pop that Lincoln's reliably. The Poison Touch probably a good candidate. As Malik working on the racks, he's going to get the ranged. And they can just wait this out. So, wait, who had the... So, was that the refresher orb he used?
Yeah.
They had the shard as well. Was it on him? Or maybe that was the... why we saw the second static storm, actually.
It was,
earlier.
I think it was Disruptor.
Yeah.
We used it previously. But yeah, the refresher orb is ready again for Brewmaster, but he'd rather wait 50 seconds to have double split. And quests are in no hurry. They have them completely contained in the base. They will try to stop that status quo, though, with a smoke here, and this is pretty much a YOLO smoke. This one has to work, or they're in big trouble. They might potentially find Noob over here. This is a quite strange path to take. Now, they will loop around and look to get a backstab onto the side of Quest, but they have to go back and defend their barracks, so information given already by Dazzle, and the play has officially ended. As Noob is going to TP into mid and reconnect with his team, so all 5 together in formation once more.
Playing against Rubik with all these low cooldown saves, really difficult.
Yeah. If he steals Disruption or Grave, he will hold it the entire fight, probably.
Primal split, and we see the banner come out. Do they have the damage to take this out several times over? Because that's what it's going to take. Rolling Thunder from Noob. Some good damage from Got the Juice. And they do have to be careful. The melee rack's at about half HP.
Daze tried to go for the Disruptor. That did not work whatsoever.
Well, I like the high risk type of plays at this stage of the game. He does have his buyback as well as PMA. Onslaught some creeps. Cannot get to the banners. There's another Primal split as PMA gonna pop the Uproar. He has that Aghanim Scepter, which is doing good AoE damage to these Brewlings. Still able to take them out before the Rax goes down.
He's gonna end that early.
Malik. Okay, Static Storm off to 3 heroes. Holy banana hammock, Cinderin. TA2000 deletes Niku. PMA falls suit as well. And it looks like Got the Juice just barely gets back to Fountain. No, he ends up popping anyway, and GG is called. Game 1 to Quest. Really entertaining affair, I have to say.
What a nice Static Storm to end the game. Deserves that tip from Omar. Lovely game.
The second half of this qualifier have definitely been better than the first half.
That's true.
They are improving very quickly. So here we are in game number 2. If Navi Jr. loses, they're out. Quest looking for a ticket to TI. And of course, if they win this, they'll have to match up against Tundra to find out who that second slot will go to, Entity being the first. And we have an early smoke being popped. Ducalis knows that they're up there now. In terms of the facets from Navi Jr.'s side, very standard ones. Nothing to really write home about. And we got Thorny Thicket on Omar. Noob Dragon Knight goes for the Corrosive Dragon that has been nerfed several times now, it feels like. And I do want to talk about that for a moment, but first we'll end with Gyrocopter, Mr. TA2000. He's the only one that seems to take the secondary strikes facet over the move speed one, which is interesting.
I guess if you're playing with IO, maybe it's less relevant to have the move speed because you're already fast. But on the flip side, if you get some sort of move speed with the Rocket Barrage facet, you're just even faster. And you keep IO in tow, obviously, so... yeah. Ducalis will find the ward. Easy D ward for him.
So yeah, talk to me about Dragon Knight. The 3 facets, and it seems like most people still just go this one. Not that we're seeing a ton of DK right now, but it's the one that's been most severely nerfed as well.
You should have
Yeah, I think overall it's probably still just the best one on average, so goes to show why the nerfs were deserved. Even after nerfing it, it is still the choice. It's the highest damage output for the time of the game that Dragon Knight really wants to put pressure as a mid hero. The minus armor is really powerful. It's also going to be nice for gyro the whole game that DK applies minus armor to the target. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take before pro players start taking the other ones in professional games. I think the fire facet is probably only really a safe lane Dragon Knight thing. So, yeah.
Alright, we'll be a mid lane versus the Primal Beast, and I have no idea how this matchup goes anymore since the facets for DK are just so different. Would you say that this is, I mean, typically Primal Beast loves melee heroes, but DK can get very good CS in these lanes. And if you start to trample, he's just going to Dragon Tail you. So it might be DK favored.
Yeah, I would think this lane is kind of just a wash for the most part, but my expectation about Dragon Knights have really changed over time, right? It's like matchups that you thought historically were like, yeah, this is probably even, or oh, maybe Dragon Knight loses this slightly. It's just, this hero just seems to win every lane almost that I see, so I don't know. I feel like it's probably quite even, but so far that is not the case. Noob, of course, will just Dragon Tail the Primal if he tries to play offensively, but he can also use the Breathe Fire for pressure. Malik in trouble bottom. This is the lane that...
Ooh, sniped out. Riddy's with the first blood with that stroke of fate. Nicely done. Well, you talked about that lane being miserable. As top lane, there's going to be a TP out, and Daze gets out of trouble. GMA has to be a bit careful. He, of course, did take the Beast Mode facet with the activation of the inner beast. He's getting applied some pressure. Rocket Barrage doing quite a bit of work.
Dire's top tower
So he will live.
attack.
And mid lane 5-0 to 12-5.
This
It's not
is way
close
more
at
one-sided
all.
than I expected. I mean, maybe this is just how it is. Like, again, I can't say with confidence. I'm just looking at it from a theoretical standpoint of, okay, you're hitting the Primal Beast, he's getting Opera stacks, he's going to do this, then he's going to get stunned, but then he'll keep trampling and getting some CS. But just in the first few waves, maybe the Breathe Fire and just overall pressure from Warren's Wrath is enough for DK to build a meaningful lead. Definitely seems to be the case so far. So, Noob, very adept at playing this hero. I mean, he's actually just destroying it. This is...
Omar getting Shikuchi'd on. Got the juice, not going to go any further. See if they can continue to win this lane. That's going to be certainly needed based on how this mid lane has gone thus far. Niku gets the water rune. Being hounded by a bunch of creeps. So this is maybe what he should be doing. Is just pulling the creeps like he has against other heroes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think after level 3, he probably should have just cut the wave. The problem is he had so many creeps on him at the time that he can't sacrifice that wave in his own tower. So he has to kind of clear up this problem first before he starts cutting. But I think now he could cut. Let's see if he goes for it. He could glyph here to try to do it as the tower is aggro or whatever. Yeah, Noob's not letting him. He's zone controlling him completely. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, Nico, are you going to sacrifice one range creep? Yes, he is. Okay, so now he's going to. And he'll cut this. Gets the water rune. And now we're no longer playing one-on-one. We're playing 1-on-0 for both players. Huh, didn't pull this to the camp. Interesting.
Oh,
Got a glyph it to be annoying.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a miserable start for sure.
I guess he'll... Noob is trying to connect the waves here. This is... this is a really long pull to do that.
He gets the bounty rune, so not complete
serious?
waste of time. Nope, he's really
Gave up on
committed
it.
to
It's
this,
like, okay,
but
it's too far.
Yeah. Niku,
He has to go back.
he took out the whole wave, so now time to reconnect for Noob.
Now, what Noob did accomplish with this was he forced Niku to do this for so long that he couldn't get the next wave before that
True.
connected. So it actually wasn't a waste of time. It's just really funny to see. But now the waves will meet.
I mean,
Noob will
that
have a huge wave in his tower.
look, yeah, he's gonna get all this CS, but that helped a lot for Niku. I think that was definitely favored towards him. Is bottom lane got the juice, getting applied a lot of pressure, and he
not an
goes down to
expected kill.
Malik. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a surprising kill to find in that lane. Omar will be in trouble. More than likely just dead here. No?
Niku making
Yes.
a rotation. Stroke of Fate. Nice snipe again.
Tower is under attack.
Have you seen the other... Oh, we're going to have to hold that thought. Noob. Mid lane. Daze is dead. Now we see the dragon form go to work on the tower with the siege as well.
Yeah,
Niku's still
strong
only level
push.
5.
2 points in the Worm's Wrath is -2 armor on the tower with the siege wave. And of course the corrosive breath itself. So Niku's trying his best to delay this, but they're actually just
Omar.
getting straight to work.
He gets the bramble off. And the Cursed Crown will be there as well.
They're gonna lose this tower at minute 6? Oh boy, this is a rough start for Navi Jr. all of a sudden.
Niku not going to be able to get the deny.
Just
Yeah, the double
strictly
support.
from draft, this looked like it could be a relatively even laning phase, but Quest say no. They draw the bottom lane with the Brew against Weaver, Grim, and the top lane, Gyro, is getting enormous. Just total free farm on TA2000. Looking very healthy here, inside of Quest and Doom 2. Wisdom runes are coming up, looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 split, neither team really trying to invade. But just a 2k lead from the laning stage for Quest right now.
You
All
said
3
that.
lanes ahead.
Got the juice. Gonna try to go
Maybe they
for
will get one.
Malik. There's a TP coming. Wisdom rune in
Tayo.
2 seconds. The stun goes off, and Noob, I'm sorry, got the juice. Does get the wisdom rune, and Daze as well. So Navi
Okay,
Jr.
that's very
getting
important.
a good exchange.
Yeah. They're still behind, but this is a big part of the lead kind of salvaged here for Navi with that steal. Yeah, a moment ago it looked like they had no intention of trying to steal it, but they changed their minds and went for it, or rather committed to it as late as possible, which is of course perfect. Just got there in time with the Weaver and stole that out. It is going to cost a little bit on the CS front though. When you send your carry for that, he is spending more than half a minute to try to steal that rune, and as a result now the distance to Gyro has increased even further. But he has to do it for his supports to get a game. So yeah.
Yeah, all 3 cores for a Quest at the top of the charts in terms of net worth. So, I mean, looking at the 2K lead this early, that does not bode well usually for most teams. Navi Jr. find an avenue to get back into this game. PMA hits level 6, so Primal Roar is actually holding the point for now. As Riddies runs into Omar, gets the silence off, and here comes Niku. Oh, puts him onto the low ground, but Pulverize will ensure the kill. And that's going to be Niku's first of the game. And with that, he is still about 1,200 net worth discrepancy away from the DK. And Malik has been, I mean, after that first death, he got that turnaround kill, and it's been kind of a free game for him. Not a whole lot of pressure.
It's a really good result for Brew to draw this lane. Like that is, and it's not even a draw. I guess actually, let's call it a draw. It's close enough, but that's the thing. It's kind of a matter of definition, right? Is this lane a draw if they have the same net worth when the expected outcome is that Weaver wins? You know what I mean? Like when do you call it a draw? Is that when Brew loses slightly because that's what you thought was gonna, or Brew loses a medium amount because that's the expected outcome? Because in that case he won the lane, right? Because he's outperforming expectations. So I think it's fair to say Quest won 3 lanes with that perspective in mind. Well, things have calmed down a little bit. Of course, Quest supports now will be a little XP starved without those Wisdom runes, so they will be taking a little bit of lane space here and there. Omar will be leeching from Noob in mid along with protecting him, and the good news is for Io, you always get high levels when you play with Gyro. He will be farming really, really fast. You're going to be playing together in the jungle, and levels are no concern for him. So get the Willow to 6, and everything is fine for the side of Quest.
And I think this Blink Dagger that's about to come for Noob is going to have huge implications. If Navi Jr. can make that feel a little underwhelming, not get the full value out of it, then maybe that'll provide them a little boost to get them into the mid game.
I actually wonder,
juice
given how
definitely
this game
farming
is
well.
going so far, if this could be a Midas.
On the DK?
Yeah, I mean, he has committed for the dagger, and I get it, and I think it's good. But I was just thinking this could potentially be a game where you could get away with a Midas. Your gyro is totally free. You know this. You know your brew is doing well. And the enemy team's lineup has build-up time, right? Beastmaster needs to finish his eggs. The Primal Beast needs 1 or 2 items before he's really online. So potentially you could have greeted it up here if you wanted to. But knowing Quest, they want to play aggressively. They want to take advantage of their DK's power spike here, play around Brew Split, and try to get a tower or 2. Got the juice, will have a look at Malik, but can't really do anything. Malik is way too tanky. Level 8 Brew with 2 bracers and the Pig Pole. Even more stats.
Does have a lot of dead net worth on him.
That's
as
true.
Most brewmasters do. So you get that juicy sacred relic. Smoke now from Quest. Noob leading the way with this blink dagger. This will be the reveal, and obviously they have their sights set on the juicy target that has got the juice, but he's going to be able to Shikuchi away, reading that quite easily. And now counter smoke from Navi Jr.
Omar's level 6, a great pairing for the Dragon Knight to get to work with this dagger. So they are going to be playing together in tandem. I would imagine for the foreseeable future really want to keep your Willow around your DK. But it looks like Navi Jr. are going to be successful in finding something here.
Yeah, Stroke of Fate onto
nice
both.
tether.
Niku not able to find the true connection. Now Malik TP's in with the Primal Split. This Primal Beast is going to get destroyed. Even Noob makes his way over. And Riddy's going to take the brunt of the damage from Bedlam. And they will get the Rubik on the backside. So
Damn.
2 supports and a Primal. Great rotation from Quest. Just shutting that play down completely.
That did not work. They broke the smoke with the supports onto Ducalis, but he's able to tether away from the onslaught. The no instant initiation there from a telekinesis into a Grim Silence or anything of the sort makes that very easy. Quest just TP and reinforcements and they clean up. And this is the makings of potentially the first game we see Navi Jr. just truly get stomped. I guess the second game against Tundra and Uppers was also quite rough. I think that was against a Carry Brood, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Sounds familiar. There's 4 bounty
not
runs.
good.
What the hell is this for
All right.
on the Quest side of the map?
Oh. Nice.
How does that happen?
Dragon Knight,
even?
how would you like a bottle refill that you don't have? Could have filled his bottle twice with that.
That's nice. Yeah, not looking good early on for Navi Jr. That's kind of their forte, Cinder.
Yeah, it's just this
Lose
is to
early
a
game
level.
and then come back.
This is to an unseen level for them, though. It's very, very hard right now. You do have great fighting heroes, and you've shown what you can do as a team. But there's a limit to how much you can compensate for missing gold. Terrorize.
The time lapse
onto
already
Juice, he
used.
left
Forgot the
into
juice.
Bramble.
Oh dear.
Into another
Bramble hits as well, and is he gonna get away? The homing missile's on his way as well. He might just die straight up. In the meantime, Pulverize. Yep, the Weaver's dead. They get the IO, but that might be it. Niku on the run. No onslaught for 5 seconds.
Oh.
TP, pretty good spot.
Those brambles were on both sides of him. He was right in the center. And yeah, he does get out. They kind of, I mean, this is still not a good trade for Navi Jr. losing their Weaver and Grim for an IO and a tower, but with how that fight was developing, they could have lost the whole team except Beastmaster, who was fortunate enough to not be there.
Dave steals another Wisdom Rune, so they're going to end up getting the first 4 Wisdom Runes, and they're still losing horribly.
Yeah, imagine if they didn't have those. How atrocious this would be. Okay, on to Noob we go. Pulverize.
Do they have the damage? I don't think so.
Stun and walk off.
Well, he's flying,
smoke.
so it's not exactly a walk. Very low flying, though. Kind of like gliding, if anything. Smoke from Navi Jr. Blade Mail onto Niku. No way to really close the gap that fast. They're going to be revealed right away.
Anything again.
And TI13 is not bothered too much by this. And this is going to coincide with the Radiance timing for the brew.
Yep.
TP from Omar, just in case. As Malik. It's not going to be a surprise Radiance, but still quite a good timing.
Yeah. Noob's going to find Days.
And
Easy
it should
kill.
be an easy one. Steals Breathe Fire.
Malik has joined the team as well. This is a full-on team move now. Roche is up on the dire side right now. So, I mean, if you're feeling that 15 minutes in that you're unfightable because of your Brew Radiance, you could go for it. It's kind of slow, but you have at least 4 points in Worm's Wrath. But it only came to mind as an option since literally their entire team was here, but they feel like it's not worth it. Just going to split up, go and take care of waves, farm up, keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, and for Navi Jr., let's see what the power spikes are. PMA already has his Aghanim Scepter, but certainly needs a Blink Dagger, and it's actually not that far away from about 700. For Niku, BKB, obviously, and he's pretty far away, but can just get the Ogre Club right now, and got the juice. Deso is the next timing. That's very close. And he doesn't even have BKB in his sights currently. See if that ends up biting him.
It's got a lot of ground to cover on the Weaver. This is a carry that we've seen TA2000, when he's winning games, he's generally a head start to finish. Just has a good laning stage, stays on par with the enemy carry at the bare minimum. But this is a 3,000 discrepancy, and it's the Gyro matchup is tricky for the Weaver in the sense that if Gyro is one item up, he can actually just stand his ground and fight you all the time, and he even has an IO. Found Days again. Amplified Damage Rune is still not enough to convince them to go Roche. They just can't be bothered. It's tough.
It's not 20 minutes yet.
They can't really fight, I think. This is reminding me a little bit of Quest's game against Secret, game number 1, where Quest had the Pango Venge lineup, and it was like no matter how Secret were to initiate, the amount of saves and problems was just overwhelming. If you think about this from Navi Jr.'s perspective, how do you start a fight? Like, who do you go on? Going on the Dragon Knight is... Oh, hang on.
Oh boy, these supports are just... We talked about, okay, the Primal Beast... Or, sorry, the Dragon Knight is going to get stunned up by the Primal Roar. They get that kill, but here comes TA2000. Hooked up by the IO. And you can see the Facet going to work as well. The homing missiles on top. That is going to be a dead Beastmaster. The supports drop dead. Got the juice. They don't have vision. Looks like he's going to get away scot-free.
So that was a 2-on-1 turned into a 3-on-2, and then the IO relocate comes in and they overwhelm them. So they did get the Dragon Knight, but this was Quest's fight that they picked. So next time around, Dragon Knight will have a BKB, and I think this counterplay will be a lot harder to pull off. But at the very least, Navi Jr. get a little bit there. Still, they're going to need much more than this if they want to equalize the game. I'm looking at, alright, the Weaver Deso being online, perhaps you just, I don't know, you can't just be like, let's just go fight and expect this to go well. You need a really clear strategy. I guess you accept that Gyro can't be your first target, so I guess you have to try to find supports with Aurora and then just assassinate them with a Weaver, and then build the fight from there. And then think about the tanky targets after, because initiating on Dragon Knight, Brew, or Gyro, any of these three will be extremely difficult. We'll see if they can pull it off. They are going for the smoke here. Wrapping around 3 heroes from Quest who are hiding in the trees now. Seem to have a pretty good idea this is happening.
Navi Jr. have to win this fight. Nope.
If DK reacts fast enough and BKBs here,
he's going to get lifted first. He gets off the BKB. Niku, the Pulverize, finally comes through with the Soulbind as well. Dragon Knight is extremely low. Terrorize comes out. The Primal Beast is already dead. Same with the Beastmaster and the Weaver. It's all 3 cores for Navi Jr. Oh dear, it's a full team wipe.
Yeah.
That is yikes.
The counterplay is insane. Like, they're there. They're ready with the support. They're ready with the reload. And all Noob needs to do in this instance is press BKB and breathe fire. And he does not die. IO comes in with a mech. They get all of their spells lined up. And their team fight is ridiculously strong. So, yeah, you said it. This fight had to work out for Navi Jr. Let's just say it didn't. I think that's a pretty good summary of that.
Yep, accurate.
Not much to add to that. This is turning into a complete shellacking, as an idiot likes to say.
Couple idiots.
Talking about Jenkins, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You're the good guy.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how you come back from this. This is close to insurmountable.
The only thing that's missing in Quest's lineup right now is an Aegis, and it feels like it's just a matter of time before they feel like they want to go there. If all their spells are ready and Navi enter the area and the smoke gets broken by literally any hero with buyback, I think they can't get the fight. So all you need to do is go 5 heroes to the Roche Pit, place somebody near the gate. If that hero smoke breaks and gets killed, buys back and TPs down to the bottom tier 2 and just rushes down there. Follow-up fight is next to impossible. Navi Jr. just not enough damage, I think, is the primary issue here. They have some nice combos, but the lanes had to go better than this.
Well, Omar is the recipient
they got a wisdom
of the
rune on
Tormentor
Quest.
Shard.
That's cool. First one of the game. They've got 1 out of 6, and they're crushing. There you go.
I wonder how often that has happened in Dota's brief history with the wisdom runes. And yeah, you can see Quest just getting into that Roche Pit. And we'll see how much ground they can cover with this first Aegis. With this push, Niku, at the very least, from the Primal Beast, will have his BKB. Got the Juice. Is just starting his BKB now. And, I mean, I feel like that was a soulbind into the Primal ult, but couldn't really tell in the midst of things if it was actually doing anything. I mean, either way, the double Primal Roar, very good. Goes
You
without
can
saying.
definitely tell the potential and the promise of Navi's lineup and what they're trying to do. Oh boy. Daze tried to be cute and steal dragon form. He found a good little crevice
He
here,
did steal it. I mean, try.
Oh,
Synderen.
they killed the Dragon Knight.
Good job. Well done. TA2000, Aghanim Scepter, BKB. He's had the BKB for longer, though.
He runs into
And
PMA,
looks like-
has to use Roar
oh my.
defensively just to get out of trouble.
The Roar and Run.
And this is a free tier 2 tower now, because this spell is too important. I think you can literally just group up with the Wave and Brewmaster split now and take this tower. You don't even need to split. You have the Aegis as a buffer, so just put TA2000 in the mix. Send him into the fray and get started. We're going to do just that. Ducalis standing in a safe position behind. Letting TA2000
What do you think of
do his
the
thing.
Butterfly that he's opting for next on the Gyro?
Over getting, you mean finishing the Daedalus, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's good tempo. It's good for the Weaver matchup because he's so far ahead. The Weaver simply cannot buy MKB right now. He has to get BKB, so he's kind of exploiting his advantage even further this way. But it's also just in terms of DPS.
Speaking of the
this,
Weaver, Terrorize, TA2000 comes with Ducalis. And that is a kill on the position 1. Got the Juice, has been squeezed into a pulp.
Wonder what Quest are going to do next. That was the mid tier 2. Top tier 2 is available. The wave is quite far though. At least PMA has pushed that one out. But the bottom wave already being cut by Brewmaster Manta. So you could think about that. But they're going to go top. PMA will blink away. TA2000 is just going to chase and get roared again. Let's see.
Okay,
Decent
that is
damage.
some good damage onto TA2000. Of course, it is just the Aegis, so he doesn't even bother popping the BKB. And Sidewindering is Noob, who catches Daze yet again. BKB already activates, so that's going to be a freebie. Riddies gets off his ult, but just going to get hounded down by the Primal Split. It just feels like PSG Quest can do whatever the hell they want, and they won't really suffer any consequences.
So that was a roar to get 2 of your supports killed and a tower. At the same, you've got to do something, right? So, like roaring the gyro and going for this follow-up fight might not be the worst, but here comes the bigger challenge. High ground time is upon us. No Beastmaster roar. Dragon Knight is knocking on the front door. There's no split, so I guess potentially.
Yeah, I think
Plus
it's
they're
just
gonna
going to be
respect this.
damage this time around. There's no Aegis as well.
Chill. But more and more and more advantage.
Well, got the Juice with a damage rune here.
Radiant
Doubt he'll find anyone though. And even once he gets this BKB, the fact that they're this far behind means he just won't have enough damage to kill. Like, the Gyrocopter is inherently tanky because there's an IO. Dragon Knight, Brewmaster, I mean, forget about it. Without major help from the rest of your team. It has to be some masterful spell casting. But as well as PSG Quest making some mistakes in positioning. I think being caught alone is not something that they'll allow in all likelihood.
Yeah, there's no need for them to split up very much. They can use Io and Gyro to play one side of the map, and the other three can play tight on the one side, and that way you kind of just cover all the angles. Probably play the Io Gyro in the top half, and unless you feel unsafe, like you're going to get ganked there, then maybe be a little bit more cautious. But there's just so much margin for error right now. As long as you push out the waves and stay somewhat tight. It's also a matter of knowing your opponent, right? Navi Jr. has a very consistent way of playing mid-game, which is a lot of 5-manning. So maybe against this particular team, you don't spread up as much as you would against others, because there's no need to. You know they're kind of tight. They're either making a 5-man move or they're farming. And in that case, you're just trading, which is good enough. Tier 2 tower, TA2000.
And this is the final tier 2 tower.
Yep.
As his butterfly is delivered.
Ooh, it's so
and
big. My
now
God.
going Satanic, so still not finishing the Daedalus. Doesn't feel like he has a lack of damage at all. And I guess with this lead, just got to make sure you don't die. That's an interesting way to look at it. Don't give them any extra gold if you can help it.
Yeah, we did see on that previous roar that he is killable, right? But with Butter Satanic, that equation changes significantly. Confidently hitting the high ground here, almost taking the tower already. Navi Jr., where's the defense at?
And Noob.
Dragon Knight is waiting to
Not
pounce,
helping out.
and he will probably pounce here.
Oh,
early
BKB a little early. All right.
He got spooked. All right, they're gonna call this. Get out. No need to force this with a little bit of a mistake there from TA2000, but that's all it's gonna cost them is a BKB charge. They can wait.
Yeah, but with Navi Jr., I mean, is this the time that you need to force the issue? I mean, God, the Juice is like 300 off of BKB still.
Yeah.
It's very awkward timing, but like, you know that this Gyro doesn't have BKB. You're down an astronomical amount. Is that enough to force the issue?
I mean, there is a little bit of a window here where you could either sell a Wraith Band or his Wand and then get BKB and then the insta-smoke, or now he's going to kill the Ancients that just respawn, then he'll have it. So maybe... I mean, I'm with you. I think smoke right now. You have 40 seconds against the Gyro. This is your best opportunity. Of course, quests are going to be anticipating the play, but, you know, I like talking about this sometimes in casts, is that sometimes you have to try a fight that you have 20% chance of winning because it's the only chance you have. Yeah. It's terrible, but the alternative is 0. So, you know, just waiting around doing nothing here is only going to end one way. It's about identifying when you have a moment of opportunity. This could have been one. I guess they just weren't ready. Now the moment is gone. Gyro's ready again. He's going to go bottom. And this base tower is now gone, and they're going to set up very strong
Oh boy.
formation here. Navi Jr. nowhere to be seen, actually.
They
don't
are
have
on the
glyph.
literal opposite side of the map. The Ranger
Where's the
Action's dead.
lift roar?
PMA, he gets off the roar, still hooked up by Ducalis, trying to get the relocate, and he does successfully just to the other side.
Big call
And
down.
now the Primal Split being used. Got the Juice, has to scurry back to the fountain, and that's a set of racks for Quest. And this is
Nice
all
and
without
easy.
Aegis. That's how much of an event. I mean, again, these last couple patches, the big patches, Synderen, it's all about first Aegis, you get the outer tower. Second Aegis is when you try to go high ground.
Yeah.
This first Aegis basically gave them
Both.
the first racks.
Yeah.
That's how much they're ahead.
And Navi Jr. are going to immediately try something again here with a little bit of a mixed smoke. Now on to all 5 of them. Took a little while to group up, but yeah, they're feeling a sense of urgency. Don't blame them for it. Gyro has BKB on cooldown once more, so could find a moment, but they're got a really large amount of ground to cover. Quest seem very aware this is happening. It's because the bottom wave is all the way in the enemy base. Like, where could Navi be if not in our jungle right now? The mid wave is also pushing in. This is an extremely telegraphed move, and Quest are experienced enough to not get caught off. But, you know, again, it feels like Navi kind of have to try for it, right? You gotta hope the enemy makes a mistake, slips up a bit and catch them, but quests are stable. No slip-ups here.
Yep, Quest playing super safe. TA2000 feels like we're talking about him getting a new item every couple minutes because that's probably the case.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's
Satanic
happening.
just about to be finished, and that's going to be pretty good timing because Roche will be up. Well, it's a bit of a late spawn, but once they get that, it would take a lot for Navi Jr. to defend the game. I think
Yeah.
the game ends.
I would agree with
Aegis.
that. You have to fight in the pit. I think fighting in your base, as much as it's nice to have the high ground and have the buybacks, the Aegis plus banner is going to be too much to deal with. And yeah, isn't it funny that the banner actually matters now? We're actually talking about it like it's an item now.
No more memes.
Yeah. Shard will go to the Dragon Knight, getting a little bit of a fireball. Maybe he can celebrate with a fireball later, but he needs to beat Tundra first.
Assuming he's 21, of course.
Yeah, well, depending on the country.
Yeah, depending
he's
on the
in
country,
Europe, so probably 18 or 16 or...
Or baby.
Well, that's the
There's
UK
no age.
only.
It's just baby.
Little known fact, in England, you actually get baptized in beer. Yes.
Amazing. It's really good for the skin. And they're sticking around the pit, but it is, like we said, a bit of a late spawn. Got the Juicing Company will get another Tormentor. Daze gets his shard, so they do have an extra save. And he just picked up a Blink Dagger. So lots more mobility to go along with his Force Staff. So they have a couple blinks now. And I didn't notice until now, Riddy's... I mean, he has 2K in the bank, but look at his inventory.
Straight X.
This is like something
All right.
from a pub. This is like Slacks level, except that would be an Ags refresher. It's just brown boots and just a bunch of garbage.
Extremely insulting. I can't believe you said that.
Slacks is immortal. Slacks is immortal.
For.
He's an immortal player that will sometimes buy 5 boots on Veno. So, just one of those things, you know?
Yeah, I don't blame Riddies for this though. You got to go big or go home, right? Like he's like, this is the type of game where I need to make a truly game-winning play, or it'll be all for naught. But the problem is, you have half of this hex.
Yep.
So, in reality, is it better to buy a smaller item and at least have that in the upcoming probably game-deciding fight than hoping for a miracle and then getting a hex? Let's see. Aegis, as well as Banner, picked up. They will more than likely just head straight up to top lane and just start knocking down this half HP tower with a banner, daring Navi, saying, "Come at us."
Banner equipped by Ducalis.
Oh, Daze is barely getting out there. It's close.
Designated banner user. Noob has already popped his ultimate. They're going to smoke up. And, I mean, we haven't really talked about Noob too much, but AC, Blink, Satanic, BKB.
Yep, all
Very
the heroes
strong.
are stupid tanky. So,
All right, we have a smoke. Navi Jr., this might be their last stand. They need to play flawlessly. And even with that, Quest needs to make some mistakes for this to
Noob could jump Daze here.
be a
He
story.
will. Fireball.
Yep, Daze. Oh, he'll force stuff back into the base. Trying to backstab is the rest of Navi Jr. TA2000 still hooked up by the IO, though. And
Backstab play did not work. Get the hell out.
backstab into teleport, I think, is the play.
They smoke behind the enemy team to TP back. That's mission failed. Well, they did cut the wave, but now the mid wave instead will just be where quests go, and this one you cannot push out. They could put down the banner right here. They will. TA2000.
There they
will
go.
start. Yeah,
The creeps.
actually
Oh, it's
placed the banner
yeah,
too far
bad
back.
placement.
A little bit of a
very
mistake
bad
there.
placement. But it probably won't matter in the end. TA2000 and company. We talked about mistakes being made. That's a slight one.
Yeah.
They still get the tower. Oh, force staff
into-
aggressively, very nicely done. They're going to get life number 1. Can they do it again is the question. Primal Split is activated. BKB popped by Gyro. The roar is reversed. He's still at half HP, though. Do they have the damage to cut through him? It looks like they do. Unbelievably so. The rest, though, we see Niku still getting ticked down by Dragonite. There's more heroes to contest with. Has got the Juice Cursed Crown with a right click. Will actually live somehow. As Noob standing his ground against this Beastmaster. The Primal Beast buys back into the game. And it looks like Quest have to try to retreat. They're going to get the range racks as the DK is relocated. Now the Shadow Realm protecting the Dark Willow for the time being.
Nice stolen
The
brambles.
stolen
by Daze.
Bramble will cause the Oh, that's
Sick
right.
hold.
Ducalis came
Wow.
back. Unbelievable
defended
defense
that.
here.
There's a couple of really clutch plays happening in this situation. So Daze goes for the offensive Force Staff into Telekinesis, then they pull him back close to the towers and then roar him. And on this, or rather, they don't roar. That's the important part. They didn't roar the first kill. The fact that they could kill him without roaring him led to an opening for a multiple back-to-back kill. He didn't survive even with the Satanic. So, yeah, Navi Jr. showing here some of their exceptional coordination. It's just really unfortunate for them that the game is this bad. Or this could have obviously been amazing.
I mean, I talk about how it being basically a miracle if they defend, and they did. Showing some of the reason why they've gotten so far in this tournament. We're going to see the replay here. The aggressive Force Staff play from Navi Jr.
Yep. And they're the roar.
Interesting.
They even lotused the roar, but still enough damage. The Terrorize doing nothing because all the heroes are BKB'd, and the IO Tether just not ready. He used it on the first life, so it didn't have Tether again. But yeah, as you said, when Gyro is dead, the fight isn't even over. That's just step number one. Then you have to contend with the Dragonite, who's also huge. So, they hold. Step number one of many, if Navi want to go to TI.
17k lead. I don't know what that was at before, but certainly cut into it a bit. Dark Portrait for Riddies, Cinderin. So Aghanim Scepter, Gyrocopter or Dragonite. I mean, maybe even Brew technically if you have no other choice for the Radiance. How good is this illusion going to be? Because you're not getting flat cannon or anything like that, so I feel like the DK is probably the best choice.
If you can get DK plus Brew, that's the dream. But I mean, anything really. I think this is possibly a better choice than the Hex. It's kind of close, but you know, when you're down a lot, then turning your enemy team against themselves can be useful. If you get a DK clone, you get both the Dragon form as well as the AC, right? So that'll be a really good one to get since they don't have access to those auras themselves.
All right, we got the double Brew split now. Surely this barracks is going down.
Yep, they're going to go for it without an Aegis because they have the shield rune on Gyro plus Refresher Brew coming in.
There
Let's
is a
see if
fortification for
can do
Navi
it again.
Jr. Lotus applied to TI13. There's the first primal split. Lift up onto the Weaver. Already heavy damage to this melee barracks. Terror. Oh, they Force Staff the Weaver this time, and he's blown up. No buyback at all. They return the favor with the Force Staff.
I think that was the Void Panda, wasn't it? Was it
Either
just the
way.
Astral Pull? I mean, lovely
Either
play.
way, beautiful
Instant.
play. And now going for the Megas. It's a 4 versus 5. Oh dear. PMA.
Reflect.
Reverse. Primal. Roar again as Niku going in with the trample. Not doing basically any damage as the second Brew split comes out. And now Niku on the run has to get help from the Grimstroke just to limp back to base. But this is going to be mega creeps. As you can see, Daze on the other side. Looks like he's going to drop with very little effort from PSG Quest. Okay, does get out. But that is mega creeps for PSG Quest. PMA just trying his best. You can see the Dark Portrait Gyrocopter trying to defend. Not as fearsome as you would think.
And all Quest need
Mega
to do now
Creeps.
is wait for next Roche or for
Yeah.
the refresher to be ready, and then do the exact same thing again at the tier 4s.
Indeed.
And they just need to avoid getting pulled into, at this time, Fountain, pretty much, is the best friend that Navi Jr. have left. Is some sort of lift into aggressive 4-step, into Fountain, into Roar, or whatever. Is the gyro's power levels and the protection is just too much. And they learned from their previous mistake, right? That's what was clear to see from Quest. After the last fight they had, they preloaded the gyro as he goes in the first time, so they can't go for this play. And then when they did go for the Roar the second time around, there was also a Lotus available. So they put that on him, they reflect the Roar, and it means that Nico can't pulverize, which is the biggest problem. The follow-up is unavailable as long as the Lotus is running. So, yeah, really good stuff.
Well, Daedalus about to be completed by Noob. And he hits like a truck now. Not a Cybertruck, though, because those are garbage.
I got nothing on that.
Nico almost done with Aghanim Scepter, and I mean that is a good tool against the DK.
You die.
Yeah,
You die. Your failure.
Primal has to do a lot of damage to win the fights, so I would agree. I think maybe this can be a little bit of a help. The refresher on Beastmaster, perhaps there's some sort of play, but the problem is if he's getting Lotused on the first roar, he can't like chain roar perfectly. He can still roar again out of himself waking up, but do you really have the damage if Dukalis is unaccounted for and gets to reload as well? I think it's going to be very, very tough, but you have to try for it. Play to your strengths, use your heroes, cast everything you've got at the gyro, I suppose, because I don't think Quest is going to give them any other opening than daring them to fight their gyro. The Brewmaster will never enter the base without being in split. The Dragon Knight is just waiting outside, and the supports are standing 2,000 range behind both of them. So it's gyro or bust.
Another shard for Navi Jr. PMA gets it. Are you
More Hawks for
surprised
gyro to
that,
kill.
like, what is Ags not purchased that often on DK anymore?
Not
Like,
so much, I would say.
Like, even in this build, it feels like it's still good.
It could be fine, but I don't think he needs it as much as he just needs to be able to stand and deliver. It's not the best damage per gold, right? Part of the value before was the Manta build, but you're not the Frost Dragon anymore. So, like, how good is it really to upgrade your Dragon form by one when you're just getting extra damage on your Dragon form, which is nice. A bit more move speed. The flying movement is also great, of course. I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad. It's still a good item. But the Manta Frost Dragon was just something else. Speaking of noob, he's going to get 25 in one creep. So he has the choice of AoE Dragon Tail during Dragon form or 12 regen and armor. So let's see what his read on the situation is. I imagine it's just going to be tank up even more.
Yeah, which makes
Just thinking about
the
it.
Niku Ags even more valuable if you can get that break.
Yep.
TA2000, the Aegis, and he has the Refresher Shard in his backpack right now. So looking for the potential double BKB just for safety's sake. And Malik, of course, has a normal Refresher Orb. And we'll see how they try to finish this game. TA2000 taking out the buildings that are named buildings. Oh, PMA jumping in. He gets the roar onto the DK. Do they have the
big
damage?
damage.
Yes,
Okay.
they do. 100 seconds. T2000 and the company want to continue the fight, though, it seems, as PMA has to try to run away. Pico backline jumping onto the Dark Willow, doing a lot of damage. Io connects finally with the Gyrocopter, but he's dead. Death number one, but if they get rid of this Io, there's no way to get out for TA2000 other than the BKB TP, which he will do so. The Primal Split being used to take out the Tier 4, by the way. Is this the last Brewmaster Panda? Yes, it is. He's dead. Another
does this team
unbelievable
find a
defense.
way?
I don't understand.
A small moment of opportunity and they just hard commit onto the Dragon Knight. My god. god, that was another Aegis push failed? I don't know, I'm not starting to believe quite yet, Shannon, but I'm feeling a little bit of a...
Tingling?
Yeah, it's like, okay, Navi Jr., can you actually do it? They still need to get the they don't have creeps, so they're not going to get any buildings, but obviously when you're this far behind and you win these fights, the amount of experience and gold you get is absolutely massive. And we did see Got the Juice is starting to deal some serious damage. Imagine he now picks up some sort of critical strike, which he's working on. The Crystallis now. Beastmaster with that roar onto the Dragon Knight. I'm really surprised how fast he died, to be honest. Considering he has 50 armor and 4k health. They still killed him just like that. Willow?
Yeah, Terrorize coming out. Actually, might have been stolen by the Rubik as Niku trying to run, but they're going to get a beautiful Terrorize onto 3 heroes. The Dark Willow is dead. Time-lapse keeping Juice Man just okay. Satanic for TA2000. It's going to be a huge battle, but the Weaver loses, and TA2000 just wiping everyone from the face of the earth.
Wow.
Everyone has buyback for Navi Jr.
The
course,
refresher
Quest don't know this.
Satanic before he gets roared, and he survives with the side gunner, just keeping him alive here as well.
Now Malik, he has the primal split. Gonna try to finish this tier 4 tower. There come the buybacks. That's 2 and 3. So now what do Quest do? Sure, it's a 5 versus 4 in favor of Navi Jr. They'll back away.
They have a very clear path to victory now. Kill literally anyone, and they don't have buyback. So, if you're the initiators with your Dragon Knight for once, if you jump any of these heroes and kill them off, you can get that man advantage. But man, I cannot believe Navi are making this a game. That's the craziest thing about this, is that... I don't know, it almost feels like some of the better teams of this tournament, like arguably... you know, like Entity or Tundra might not have been able to do this kind of defense. It's strange to say it, right? But the way they win their games and the way they play is very different from this. But this is so good defensive play.
You want to go next?
Come on, noob.
Just bag chill. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, bug.
Yeah, bug.
Okay. I was gonna say, is that a new? Because he's 15 years old. There's a lot of sayings with these youngsters. These
He
days,
meant
that
bag. Oh, that's good. That's some good all chat. Good spirits. Lotus Orb complete now on Ducalis as a 5th layer of defense for TA2000, which he seemingly needs all of.
Apparently.
And we also have the Wind Waker on the Dark Willow, so that's a 6th layer of defense. Let's see if that's enough. And of course, he himself has the Ascetics cap.
So we're a ways away from this, but surely you got to start thinking if you've got the juice for Divine being the next and final item for him.
Yeah.
As he hits 25 now. So extra Geminate attack.
How much more damage is that than a Daedalus, though?
That's true.
It is more, but
crit.
I don't know how much more it is exactly. Considering he also has a neutral item that gives him 50 damage in the Ancient Guardian, right? Which is 100, because he's constantly in his base. Yeah. So I actually think the critical strike might be better bang for your buck right now. Just at least the Crystallis. You can get Crystallis Rapier. I think that would be fine.
Yeah, he still has boots as well. That's true. He still has a lot of room to grow, actually. And that's the scary thing. That last fight, he was doing a crap ton of damage. That's without the 25 talent. So an extra attack now.
Noob is
scary proposition. Noob has he has a damage rune as well. I mean, there's a Dragon Knight and a Brewmaster, so they could just bulldoze these buildings as well. There's a fortification for Navi Jr. though. Pipe is popped.
Primal Split.
Primal Split looking to take out the tier 4. Noob jumps in as well. Roar number 1 onto the DK. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. Wait, he gets lifted at the last moment. Still going to get dropped very easily. TA2000 with the BKB. It is no more, though. The Ancient fully exposed as Got the Juice trying his best to defend right now. The Terrorize again stolen. This Rubik has been stealing very good spells this game. There's the Primal Split number 2. Fortification finally popped, and now the creep's starting to overwhelm the base. PMA axes. Will it be enough to actually defend this any longer? The focus comes through. Okay, the terrorized onto basic. The whole team. TI13 is dead. He does have his buyback. Likely will not. Okay, he will use it to try to finish this game. Ducalis has nobody to hook up to right now. The pulverize onto the DK, and here comes TI13 to finish the job. Focus on the Ancient itself. Do they have the damage to finally take him out? No. And PSG Quest finished this game, but NAVI